Tim, maybe turning back to you, you mentioned that you had planned to replace CrowdStrike before the July incident, and substantially replace it with Rapid7's and endpoint modules. Not necessarily a name that comes up in terms of a very often in terms of CrowdStrike replacement.
Yeah.
Typically it's Microsoft or Sentinel One, right?
Yep.
What sort of stuck out to you, that really drew them to your attention to as sort of the platform to migrate to for this?
Yeah, exactly. And this kind of goes hand in hand with your previous question on stack consolidation. That's one of the main reasons we use a lot of Rapid7 services and extended SOC and remediation and kind of log aggregation, all that good stuff. And going to selecting CrowdStrike was kind of done because it did have a good reputation. And it did play well, although it took a lot of integration to get logs into Rapid7. But the reason why we did that is because the Rapid7's ETR tool endpoint wasn't available at that point. It was still in beta. So I would have pushed more for the Rapid7 endpoint, in the beginning of that process, but I wanted it to mature a little bit more before we went to it. So that was one of the main drivers for going with CrowdStrike, and the way that Rapid7 detects odd behavior, malicious behavior on the endpoint. It didn't really. It's because CrowdStrike was a third party. It needs another sensor to validate what's being detected. So it kind of delays action a little bit, where moving directly to their endpoint agent allows for action to be taken quicker on those endpoints. So that was also a benefit for us to move to Rapid7. And I will admit they are relatively new in this space, so we are monitoring it and seeing how it goes. So far so good, but that was the main driver with selecting that.
Got it. Thank you. No, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if Brad, you were starting
Yeah,
to say
yeah.
something.
I was just going to say that we traditionally preferred best of breed, but we're moving to more of what I call a shopping mall model, which means identifying a few trusted anchor tenants that we trust, and then consolidating solutions on that provider. And CrowdStrike is one of our anchor tenants, which is why we have three products. We had a good experience with them. We've added additional products as needs have arisen over the time.
Right, right. And earlier you mentioned that identity was one of those products. Why sort of use them as one of your anchors, to use your analogy, as opposed to an Okta or a CyberArk?
Yeah, we did our bake-off for identity threat detection and response products, and they won that bake-off.
Wow.
But one of the reasons they were in it was because we've had a good experience with CrowdStrike with its other products.
Great. And are you sort of able to obtain more, I guess, advantageous financing as you continue to add on those modules, or do you think the best of breed still commands a premium even as you add on additional use cases with the Falcon platform?
No, we definitely have more leverage from a negotiating perspective when we're adding products to an existing portfolio.
Great, great. Yeah, then maybe sort of the last one on competitors before we dive into the July outage. We talked about Microsoft and Defender a little bit earlier. Obviously been investing a lot in their core security products, as well as AI/ML use cases over the past few years. On our end at ETR, we see Pervasion in terms of them as just within their security stack above 80%, which I think really speaks to their the power of their ecosystem, right? Even if you're not using them as sort of a primary vendor for an identity or an endpoint use case, you might have something related to email protection, or something related to 365. Getting to a question, do you use Microsoft for any security use cases, and if so, how do you balance that versus a dedicated security platform?
So Microsoft ARM templates, the Azure Resource Manager has been very much helpful when it comes to infrastructure as a code. So we're able to kind of utilize that for a lot of network monitoring that can then be jointly built upon to the use of playbooks. So for example, we take information from Zscaler's ZIA, push that over to Splunk. Splunk Phantom will run noticeable events based on correlated type searches. And then kind of for event tag types and aliases, we can utilize these ARM templates to help out with more or less their sort of deployments. Maybe other customers will work with Terraform, almost similar idea. And the other stuff with like Microsoft Copilot, at least for 365 and Fabric, that's also especially important from the Microsoft security side on terms of offerings.
Great. Thank you, Shane. Anyone else?
Well, the one thing, I mean, we did evaluate a Defender, and I think the new Defender is actually, it does have a lot of features, and it does have a lot more than Microsoft endpoints had in the past. The one thing that which gave us reluctancy with choosing Microsoft in that way is that they have a tendency to abruptly discontinue services and discontinue products. So I didn't want to really leverage them because of fear of them just changing their mind. Yeah. Which they've done multiple times. And like, we can look at a ton of different products that will change names. I think we all remember Lynx, prior to Skype for Business, like Teams, like whole iterations of product lines. They like to, they like to do that. I know they are trying to push more into security, but we tend to avoid them. Same thing with like identity management. We're an Okta customer, and we chose them over, continuing with Microsoft, even though we're primarily on-prem still, but we do have some cloud services in Azure. But we went the Okta route because we don't have confidence in Microsoft being able to not make rapid changes or deprecate services that are critically important.